I think I got the go-ahead to go, so let's do it. If you're able and willing to stand and join us in our first two songs, please do. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is abundance in our fellowship. This is a place we all belong. We place our trust in this great holiness. This is the moment, come along. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. There is a promise in our thankfulness. We know that when we seek, we find. We place our trust in this great holiness. This sacred space is yours and mine. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles again. We are gathering in song, welcoming the oneness, opening the doors of spirit wide. We are walking into light, starting out together on a journey through the miracles inside. On a journey through the miracles inside. Stay there. Let me transition to the piano. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Nice job.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mira Neruzzi, and I will be the platform assistant today for half the service. Then I'm going to go down with the kids, and then Deb McQuaid, another LUT, will proceed on for the other half of the service. So please know your soul is absolutely welcome here and that you're greatly loved. You're all part of our Unity family. And I would like to begin today with announcements. You have a little bit change in order of service. I can't see it that good. But anyway, I will read it. So there will be no healing and wholeness service this July, which is this coming Friday. Please plan to come and join us on Friday, August 11th instead. Our annual church picnic is coming around the corner, and it'll be held on Sunday, August 20th at the Fabian Forest Preserve. We will barbecue and play lots of games. Come by me. I have a lot of games with the kids, and the adults can come too. Please sign up to bring a dish to share and to help set up and clean up. Everyone is invited to this fun annual event. If you have any questions, please contact Deb McQuaid or Judy DeVoe. And guess who's coming? Elvis. Elvis is coming to Unity of Fox Valley in September. So get ready to scream and swoon. Tickets will go on sale next Sunday, and there will only be 100 tickets. Better hurry up, guys. Available, so don't wait too long to reserve your spot. The sign-up is over in the fellowship area. Thank you. And Unity is about prayer. So I invite Pamela to come up and read our daily word for today.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Before I read the daily word, I just wanted to say, just for someone who may be new to the church, which I'm not sure if there is anybody new to the church, but just to let you know, because it doesn't look like it, but a couple of people that used to go here a long time ago, so welcome. But I just wanted to remind you about our prayer program and how I know for myself, before I became a prayer chaplain, I didn't realize how supportive it is. And if you haven't taken it, into your heart to reach out to a prayer chaplain, it is such a wonderful gift that we have here that is so unique to this church, to Unity itself. So please, those of us that are the prayer chaplains, please reach out. We can call you monthly, sit with you anytime you need to, even come for a visit. And then today after church, please. Even though I'm a newbie, I have been praying my whole life. So I look within and discover my power. Great powers lie within me. Like a treasure chest full of gold and precious jewels, buried in my own backyard. It is so close that I sometimes overlook it, leading me to search near and far, seeking strength and value outside myself. Yet my power is in my potential, a gift for me to discover. Take a breath, everyone. Just take a breath and take in these words of power. I am endowed with wisdom, love, creativity. gemstones meant to be uncovered and shared with the world. I am rich in my capacity to use these gifts to reach goals and create my life with intentionality. As I think, speak, and behave in accordance with my divine abilities, I share my treasures. I bring into the light the hidden parts of myself, knowing my power comes from expressing my best self. For we are what He has made us, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand to be our way of life. Ephesians 2:10. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Pamela. And she reminded me of responsibilities as a platform assistant. I don't do this too often. Is there anybody here for the first time? Ah, we have a customer. Welcome. I'm also supposed to remind you that if your cell phones are on, please turn them down. Thank you. And please join me in reading the Spirit's Unfolding Vision Prayer, which is found in your bulletin. Guided by divine wisdom, inspired by divine imagination, centered in divine love, and knowing that God is our source, we boldly move forth in faith as we allow Spirit's expanding vision to unfold in our lives, the life of this spiritual community, and our world. Thank you, God. Amen. Now I invite you, if you can stay seated if you like, or you can stand and join us in singing and praying the Lord's Prayer.
I hear you better with the microphone closer to your mouth.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, my favorite part. All right, kids, teachers, come forward to get blessed. Please join me in blessing our youth. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do. That was awesome. Thank you.
All right. Y'all ready? All right, 2, 3, 4. Met a man wearing a t-shirt, said Virginia had a Bible in his left hand and a bottle in the other. He said, all you're really given is the sunshine and your name. We both started laughing when the sky started to rain. Get along down the road, we've got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along? Saw a model on a billboard, 1-800 get to know me. Wondered, was she photoshopped or were her eyes really that lonely? Did she leave her hometown thinking she'd end up in LA? Did she break down on the desert and get stuck beside the highway? Get along on down the road, we've got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along? We find out when we die, the keys to heaven can't be bought. We still don't know what love is, but we sure know what it's not. Sometimes you got to get along on down the road. We've got a long, long way to go. Scared to live, scared to die. We ain't perfect, but we try. Get along while we can. Always give love the upper hand. Paint a wall, learn to dance. Call your mom, buy a boat, drink a beer, sing a song, make a friend. Can't we all get along? Yeah. Get
Good morning, everyone. I'm Deb McQuaid, licensed Unity teacher here at Unity of Fox Valley. I'm going to introduce Reverend Elizabeth, but I'll tell you what, Mary called me to help out with the technical, and I don't think she was at the women's retreat that I was at several years ago when I was in charge of the wake-up music, the technical, at the women's retreat, and we had been in the silence. And so I was going to play The Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Except when I tested it the day before, it must have jumped to the next track. So what women heard in their rooms was, "Coo-coo-ca-choo, Mrs. Robinson." So they're really trusting me, but don't worry, Elizabeth, I got this. So I'm really looking forward to today's talk. Reverend Elizabeth Mora has been a spiritual seeker since high school when she found Unity of Fox Valley. Years later, she served the church as an usher, soloist, drama leader, prayer chaplain, and board president. Her mission is to share positive spiritual teachings with as many people as she can. With a master's in divinity, years of theater experience, and a training background, she offers a unique blend of the human and divine when she speaks. She also has a helping heart and offers spiritual classes, counseling, and coaching. Elizabeth says, and I quote, "I believe growing our inner world is what we are called to do. If religion doesn't work for you, you can still have a spiritual practice that will change your life for the better. Whatever path you take, I know we can shift our thoughts, beliefs, and actions by using the wisdom of ages and the breakthroughs of today." Reverend Elizabeth offers an expansive perspective on life and spirituality, using Unity's positive spiritual teachings, Christianity, Eastern philosophy, humor, psychology, storytelling, and sometimes even a chainsaw. We'll see what that's all about. So please help me welcome Reverend Elizabeth Mora.
Deb. Thank you, Deb. I'm really making sure that all technology has been removed from her hands. Okay, whew, I feel safe now. We are chainsaw-free today, in case anybody's really looking forward to that part. You'll just have to have me back for the chainsaw. Hi, good morning. I was at a Starbucks one time, and I was busy studying when I was in seminary, and I noticed there was a gentleman making his way around most of the tables, being very social, but for very short times, at a table, and then he'd move on. And then as he got closer, I started to hear that he was evangelizing. And people in Starbucks really weren't having any of that. And so he made his way around, and I tried to make myself as small as I possibly could. And I figured if I just stared really intently at the book, he wouldn't come over to me. And then I thought, wait a minute, I'm in seminary here. I need to learn to talk to people about this stuff, and I could take on the other side a little. This ought to be fun. And so I sat up straight, and as he made his way around, he said, "Can I tell you about Jesus Christ?" And I said, "Please, tell me. Sit down." And so he told me all about his side and his view of a very judgmental God. That's the one that he talked to me about. And I started to tell him about, well, you know, in unity, how many times have I started a phrase with that? In unity, we believe, because you have to differentiate yourself from every other Christian out there sometimes. So in unity, we really believe and focus on a loving God. Now, we also know that judgment is one of our attributes, but not this judging God that comes down to punish us. Oh, no, 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 he said. You have to have that punishing God. You have to know what's good or what's bad, and there has to be a consequence. And so it went for, I don't know, about 10, 15 minutes. And as you can imagine, neither of us got anywhere, right? He was pretty much where he was. But I noticed that he was curious about some of the things I said, and he had never heard some of those things. That kind of was shocking and hard, and it hurt my heart a little bit that he was living with this God that was so judgmental and mean. And thank God for the God that I had at that time, which was much more loving and understanding, and really wasn't a person anyway. It was principles and laws. And so as he left, I think I raised a few questions, and he definitely taught me some more about a strict, traditional, more fundamental, more evangelical point of view. And I found that something that I wanted to know more about, so that when I'm talking with people, I know what's in their background sometimes. How many of us grew up with more that kind of God, the judging God in the sky? How many of you grew up with that type of God more? Okay, most of us did. How many of you grew up knowing over and over again God loved you, and this was a positive thing, and God worked for good in the world? Okay, about a third to two-thirds. Okay, how many of us grew up with both? A little bit of both, maybe. Yes. I would go between Catholic Church and my grandmother's Baptist church. So I got different messages. And then my mom would take me to like crystal fairs and psychic fairs. So I was getting a whole mix of education around the divine. And as I think back on that conversation and many conversations since then, especially after our last president and what's going on with race and gender, how do we get along? What they were talking about in the song, which was so perfect. That question has, I guess I want to say, bugged me for my whole life, pretty much. How do we all come together? How do we get past these differences and find our commonalities? And so I've been a bit of an experimenter, having conversations, reading books on the other side. What does a deep evangelical say about this? And I keep looking for what brings us all together, not just in religion, but in race and economics and social justice. And what is this universal oneness that maybe we could all agree on and then get somewhere with it? Because if we're not coming together here, then we're over here, and I don't think we're getting anywhere. And I want to get somewhere in this lifetime. How about you? I think we have. I like to think that we have. And as you look at how the world works from decades, centuries, millennia ago to how it works today, we have certainly made some progress when you think about things that were done during the Inquisition. So how do we really come together for this universal oneness? And this is the gentleman that I end up turning to more often than not. Can you see the picture well enough? Yeah, there we go. Carl to the rescue, not Deb. Carl to the rescue, not Deb. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Thank you. Do you recognize him, anyone? Now do you recognize him? Anybody remember what he was famous for saying? Can't we all get along? Thank you, Warren. So Rodney King came to prominence when LA riots broke out after a verdict about his beating by police officers. They were all acquitted. Gee, does that feel familiar? So they were all acquitted, and LA and across the country, but especially in LA, they broke out into riots. People died, and he became sort of a national figure. And so he came to the podium one day to all of these reporters, and he was very emotional. I don't know if this speech was prepared or not, but how many of you remember that moment in history? Okay, so not everybody, even of our age, remembers that. I know some of the younger folks wouldn't. And I almost was going to put up some pictures of what LA looked at that time, but I decided I didn't want to put those pictures up. You can look it up if you'd like and read the Wikipedia page. So Rodney King came out to bring everybody together out of desperation because people were rioting and looting in his name. And he is famous then for having said, "Can't we all just get along?" And man, I feel that way so often. Do you? God, how do we bridge this gap? You know, when a certain official was elected, my husband started a blog because here I was saying, we've just got to get along here. How do we get along? We've got to find a bridge. It's another, metaphor that I use. We got to find that bridge. And I'd been talking about bridges and all sorts of things, but especially when politics just became so divisive. How do we find that bridge? And he started a blog. And do you know what he called it? Good luck with that bridge. So Rodney still believed in a bridge. He's passed now, but he believed in a bridge. And this is exactly what he said. He's famous for a slight misquotation. He didn't actually say it this way, but it rings so true. Can't we all just get along? How do we find universal oneness? And this is the full speech that he gave. It was really more a pleading. I just want to say, can we all get along? Can we all get along? Can we stop making it horrible for the older people and the kids? And I mean, we've got enough smog in Los Angeles, let alone to deal with the setting of these fires and things. It's just not right. It's just not right. They've won the battle, but that isn't going to change anything. We will get our justice. We'll get our day in court, and that's what we want. And just love. I'm neutral. I love everybody. I love people of color. I'm not like they're making me out to be. We've got to quit. We've got to quit. I mean, after all, I could understand the upset for the first 2 hours of the verdict, but to keep going on for days and days, and to see a security guard shot on the ground, it's not right. Because these people aren't going to go home to their families again. I mean, please, can we get along here? We all can get along. We just gotta. We gotta. I mean, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's try to work it out. Let's try to beat it, Let's try to work it out. That's what Rodney had to say for us all. Can't we all just get along? And as I listened to those words and read the full transcript, I noticed something that jumped out for me, a unity perspective, if you will. And what I saw in his words were a lot of the 12 powers. How many of you are familiar with the 12 powers or the 12 attributes of unity? Okay, about a quarter, third, half. It's a wonderful teaching that you can work with if you'd like. And I'm sure Rodney King knew nothing about it, but there it was. And I started to hear some of the words or the concepts that he was getting at. And he was calling us to use 12 powers. Or many of us today call them more 12 attributes. 12 divine, beautiful, healthy, in evolution we would call them adaptive behaviors that we all can exhibit to get along. So the 12 powers popped out to me. He says, we've got to quit this. That's the power of elimination, when you stop doing what's not working. So let's quit that. Let's stop doing it. He talks about winning the war instead of just the battle and having justice. That's discernment. That's love coming together. Can't we all just get along? Well, Charles Fillmore defined love. Charles Fillmore, who's he? Anybody? There we go, co-founder of Unity. Co-founder of Unity with Myrtle. Charles Fillmore said that love was the power that brings us together, the divine harmonizing power. So getting us together in universal oneness is demonstrating love. That's what Rodney King was talking about as well, amongst other things. So it was these 12 powers, and there's the man, there's Charles, and there's your 12 powers. Okay, got it? Let's see. All right, who's got them? Can we hear? Yes, no? Okay. I don't know, licensed teachers can't answer because they are, I'm looking at Dev, and if Mary were here, So there's a few of us that know these by heart. And so life, faith, understanding, power, imagination, strength, wisdom, love, will, release, order, zeal. He's calling for order. My goodness, the power of order. Can we bring this all together and stop some of the chaos? So here they all are, broken down a little, and I'm not going to be able to give you a sermon on that today. You could do a sermon on each one of them, or certainly a whole sermon on the 12 attributes. Now, Charles saw these as things that he felt that Jesus the Christ demonstrated. And there are many more. We could add and go on from here, but this was 12 that he particularly pulled out as especially important in the life of someone he admired who lived. Jesus the Christ, and he demonstrated all of these things, and we can too. And Rodney King was calling us to. Now, here's a little quick thing for those of you who do want to get into this, if you want to study them more. I mean, really what this is an ethical way to live. to use these abilities and look for the ways that you can bring them out. And what you can do is pick one. 12 is kind of overwhelming, isn't it? So, pick one. One a day, one a month, something like that. And decide that you're going to work with it. Like, how can I bring more understanding to a situation or to a friend or to someone who I struggle with? How can I bring some understanding? What can I learn and know about it? Or where do I need some zeal in my life? Where do I need to be a little pepped up and get some energy going, which is usually what it takes to get some things done. So these are very, very practical things, and here's a quick way that you can remember them. Lips, Jews, flow. Well, isn't that clever? So this was taught to us in seminary, and I like to use this. And so, because of this mnemonic, I can tell you what the 12 powers are without turning around. Life, imagination, power, strength, judgment, understanding, zeal, elimination, faith, love, order, will. It's just a good party trick whenever you're at a unity party, especially. Oh, I know those 12 powers. I have one for the disciples. I'll tell you that later. So there we have lips, Jews, flow, a quick way to remember them. And I even made it into a song. Life, imagination, power and strength, judgment, understanding, zeal, elimination, faith, love, order, will. And then I usually tag, faith, love, order, will. So there you have a way to, you heard I was a singer at one point, so I had to get a little bit of that. So when we're stuck, and we can't get over something, or we've got something going on, or when things are going well, and I'd like to maintain that, or I'd like to recognize, hey, when things are going well, I wonder what 12 powers are working in my life. This is a tool that we can use, and it's a tool that can help us in this quest that I have for oneness. And the power that I most especially work with, my favorite attribute, if you will, is that of life. It's also the start of the mnemonic, life. Because without it, there ain't nothing else. And maybe that's one thing we can all agree on. We might not even agree that we'd like peace. Not everybody does. There are reasons when you don't want peace. If you're trying to overcome something, we need to get into good trouble sometimes. And it ain't always peaceful. So we can, I think, maybe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, agree on life. Even the biggest haters in the world, I think, would have to agree. We are all living a life. We're all living a life here. And I'm living mine, and you're living yours, and we're bumping into each other, and we're harmonizing with each other. That's basically what's happening here, if you ask me. We're living a life. Oh, okay. So how are you living yours, and how am I living mine, and how are they living theirs, and which one should I focus on the most? How am I living mine? Doesn't mean that we don't focus on what else is going on and what's out there. But it's great to start in here to make sure I'm centered. That's why when Unity does social justice work, they actually call it spiritual social action. That it's motivated by spirituality, by the 12 powers, by an inner knowing. Before we run out to say, I'm going to fix the world, we say, what's going on with me? And so we have these 12 powers that we can apply, and when we use this power of life, well, we're stuck. What does life tell me? Well, I'm bound up with you somehow. As I like to say, you don't have to like it. Rodney King says, hey, we are all stuck in this together. Like it or not, we're stuck with each other, for good and for bad. So given that we are, for the moment, let's say, stuck with each other, living a life, how do we best do that? The ultimate question. I'm such a philosopher at heart at sometimes. What is adaptive? What's healthy? Basically, what works? What works in living together when we're the same and we're different? Sometimes in the pursuit of oneness, We want to forget, or I want to forget, that there are differences. I want to focus on what's happy. I want to focus on where we all get along. I want to focus on what unity teaches me. And not that unity doesn't teach this, but there's also another focus on what's not working, what could be better, what's different, how are we evolving even in unity. So what's working and what's not. And I may be saying, I love everybody. Hey, I'm a Myers-Briggs feeler. I'm all about feelings. And I have to remind myself, hey, there's a thinking brain going on here too. Let's bring this in. And that may feel like a really great answer. And are there some things that I need to understand? Use more of the brain to bring them together, and vice versa. Thinkers could use perhaps a little dose of feelers over here. And so you find yourself going back and forth between these. There's you and there's me. There's us and there's them. And this power of life that unites us, where we're all together, is the same. And Charles Roth, one of my favorite unity quotes, is, all life is one. We are but a focalizing point of expression of that one universal life. A little bit heady there, isn't it? Focalized expression. You don't use the, well, hello, how is your focalized expression doing today? We are all an expression of one life. Maybe not everyone will agree, one God, one power, but one life. That word, hey, that's a version of, a fancier, nicer version of, there we are all together living a life. We're living a life together. And so Rodney King said, we're all stuck here for a while. Let's try to work it out. Let's work it out through this power of life and how to manage it and how to manage the dance. How do we live with it and where do we go from here? Now, what a strange slide to pop up in the middle of a sermon. But this is a good one, and I'm going to take a moment. Ooh, he told me how to use the pointer. That might work. Ooh, I actually need the pointer. I'm very excited. Who's got a cat? Whee. I need the pointer for this one. Okay, has anyone seen a crazy graph like this before? A polarity map? Yes? Got one, maybe, nope, a couple. Okay, great. Who wants to come up and tell everybody what this means? So this is what's called a polarity map by Roy Oswald. Oh, I love him. He's so good. He's got a whole book on just church polarities. So there's a little light reading for you. So this one is a polarity, how there are two sides of the coin. That's what that basically is. And you've got to understand both sides of the coin. Now stick with me for just a moment. I know this isn't exactly churchy stuff, but really it is. It really is, because, well, everything is. So the top half is good, and let's just call the bottom half bad. Here's what you want. You want the good stuff and not too much of the bad stuff. Now, the bad stuff is really where you grow, so it's never going to be perfect, but you've got these poles, and they've both got to be addressed. So in religion, we have many of them. We have conservative and progressive. We have big, we have small, we have all sorts of them. But here on this chart here, what we have is individual freedom and the common good. And that's what Rodney King was also talking about. Can't we all just get along for this common good? And what do we do when it bumps up with what you want for you? Here's what I want, and maybe I'm not so concerned about you. And sometimes we're too concerned about what other people are doing, and we're not concerned enough about us. So the goal of this complicated little chart is to honor, recognize both, you and me, and to maximize the positive of both of those. There are positive things about a common good and individual good. That's why we're not communist. It may be focused too much on what's the common good, and it took away anything on the other polarity. And if you break down into anarchy, it's all about individual freedom with no thought of the common good. So little did Rodney King know that he was mapping out a polarity for us, that we could apply the 12 powers, but he did. So that map tells us that we can live guided by oneness, common good. But we've got to admit the differences too. If we stay only on that side of the polarity, we miss the folks, the beliefs about, hey, what about me? You hear that in the environmental movement, don't you? I don't want to recycle. It's inconvenient for me. But we also live guided by our own needs, and we have to admit that I'm connected to you. So we may not all see it the same when I think we do. I may be all cuddled up to you, and you're like, no, I'm over here. And I may need to back away and say, and yet maybe I need to find a way to connect. So there we can live within these two polarities. We're the same, we're one, and we're separate. And watch as you interact with people where that comes up. I was at a food market yesterday, farmer's market. There you go, farmer's market yesterday. What a lovely, I saw your face perk up. What a lovely thing to do on a Saturday, right? And everything was going swimmingly until somebody brought a dog that was not meant to be in public. So the dog was barking and growling and jumping at people, and it was just, and this was really crowded and it was really nasty. So there, our two needs went like this. So his need was to have his dog with him, and the crowd's need was to feel safe when they were there. And it didn't go well. So I can work on this some more, because as his dog leapt at me, and I like dogs, but I'm not 100% comfortable with dogs, I was scared. And he said, "Don't be scared, my dog is fine," which is what every dog owner ever said right before he bit you. That's really nice, but no. And I just reacted out of fear, and I said, "Your dog shouldn't even be here." "Well, don't you tell me what to do." And then poof, there we went. And I went and tattled on him, and I hope they went and got him, because that dog, I really was worried it was going to hurt a kid. Not a successful example of resolution, but yet reality. I want to have my dog here. I want what I want. And I was focused on what was the common good and what I wanted. I wanted a peaceful experience at the farmer's market. And when I told this to my friend, she said, "Oh, my son used to work there every summer, and he said people were so nasty he doesn't work there anymore." Oh, so maybe I have a little off expectation about what happens at a farmer's market these days. Maybe I just need to adjust to reality that maybe I'm not going to get even what I want, because I'm still looking for that thing that Rodney gave us. I'm still asking, please, we can all get along here. We just gotta. We gotta. Thank you. And we'll now sing our way into meditation. I invite you to get settled. If you close your eyes, you might not want to at first, because the words are up on the screen if you want to sing along.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
And we take that feeling of blessing into a time of quiet, time of reflection, to be in this present moment, lifted up by this gift of life that brings us together. I am life, expressing, pulsing. And I join with all of life in all its forms and all its places today. I see you and honor you and join with you. In universal oneness, connection, love, strength to move through what challenges, release of any burden that I have. I let this here be my time for healing, for being uplifted. I now rest in the silence. In this place of divine connection with everyone here in this space, we now let this energy move out into the world as if we are floating up into the sky, lifting ourselves up and lifting others, lifting all of humanity and existence up into light. In a place out beyond in the field where we all get along. I'll meet you there. And so it is. Amen.
Yeah. So we'll move on. Now is the time in our service for our love offering. So if you'll join me in our love offering prayer. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of supply. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that I am, I have, I give, and I receive. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all the good that we are, we have, we give, and we receive. Thank you. Thank you, music team, and Juliet wrote that. Our very own Juliet. It's beautiful. Okay, we already did announcements, so we're going to jump to the congregational blessing. If you'll, technical. If you'll all join me and stand and face one another, or the congregation as a whole. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold the Christ in you and know that you are empowered to do great things. And while we're standing, we'll do the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. The peace. Please join us for fellowship downstairs. Okay.